YouTube. Now let's get live on TikTok. And let's see if we can get some of our TikTokers to come over to YouTube. All right. Come on. There we go. Let's go live. Let's go live. All right, we got it. All right, we are live. 3, 2, 1. All right. So, all right, taking on some views on TikTok. That's so strange. Doesn't matter how close I get to the microphone. I guess it's noise canceling. I don't know. Something. Anyway. All right. We got people joining. This is good. Let's go to, oh, that's interesting. There's an article on Zero Hedge. It says that according to CNN, Asia is not nearly gay enough yet. Apparently, Asians don't get the tranny obsession. They just don't care, mostly. That's pretty healthy, I think. Let's see. Oh boy, it's getting crazy. Hey, give me an idea if you guys think that Trump's going to become president. And when I say become president, I mean if you think that he'll actually make it to becoming president, if you know what I mean. Because it seems like somebody does not want him to be president. What the heck just happened to my phone? Uh-oh. That's not good. My phone just died, which means my TikTok just died. And since nobody's watching me on YouTube yet, I better get my phone up and running. Because nobody's watching me on YouTube yet. That's okay. You know what's going to be cool is when... Oh, I got to restart my live stream. Damn. Come on. One of these days, the cool thing about YouTube is that, A, you can say things that you're not allowed to say on TikTok. And B, the other thing is that it's left up forever. So when a year from now you look back and you go, damn, that guy was right, then you can call me and buy some silver. All right, let's do this again. Resume live. Yes, resume my live. Okay, now this is just getting weird. Okay, well, I lost you guys for a minute, but you're back. And there's a couple hundred of you. That's good. I like that. Let's talk about whether or not Trump gets to make it to the election, because I'm not sure that's going to happen, and that really does kind of bother me, because whatever you think of him, I think that that's not a way to eliminate a candidate. Like debates, great way to eliminate a candidate. You know, everybody says, oh, that guy or that gal, she can't talk or he can't talk and whatever. But the way that it looks like they may go about eliminating him as running, not feeling it, getting kind of nervous. I'm looking for a story right now that I just saw that the former director of the San Diego area for Homeland Security said that he was told to not talk about terrorist threats coming across the border. Even if he found them, don't talk about them. That is a bombshell. if I can find the rest of it, it's been on here a couple times. It's been up bouncing around, but it looks like it's getting hammered pretty hard because I don't see an article about it anywhere. Oof. It looks like Hungary is going the same direction as Poland with their extreme anti-immigration policies. And when I say extreme, I mean extreme. They are 100% no leaks in the borders, nobody's coming across, etc. Basically, it's exactly the difference between them and us. Buying water, tuna, fish, and canned chicken. All right. Don't eat too much canned tuna, though, because there is a warning for the amount of mercury in it. Yeah, kind of sucks, but apparently it's because, tuna eat other fish. So let's see. Daddy is an absolute insurrectionist. Well, I do read a lot of Jefferson, and Thomas Jefferson said that, every once in a while you got to keep the government honest, and I'm not sure anybody would call the government honest right now. Maybe I'm wrong. So, by the way, thank you for the likes, because the likes do send me out to the algorithms, which help me get to lots of people. You can't find... Can't really understand that word. That was written to England. Okay. All right, they have their own language over there. Are you guys sending me hearts? Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Let's see. Hello. All right, getting some people on here. That's a good thing. Let's see. Some layoffs, interestingly, not being announced. I mean, technically they're being announced, but it's not really something that a lot of companies want to talk about right now because, the labor market's really strong. By the way, Janet Yellen mentioned today, and if this doesn't prove that she's a clown, nothing ever will. She announced today that deporting upwards of 30 million illegal migrants would cause inflation. Yes, that's right. Because she said that they work for less wages than Americans do, and so that's deflationary. And that's a great thing. Now, I don't think that what she talked about in there was the $650 billion a year we're spending on immigrants. For instance, if you live in a hotel that's paid for by the government, and you have a cell phone that's given to you by the government, and you have food assistance by the government and health insurance paid for by the government, yeah, you can go to work at a factory somewhere for pretty cheap wages because they don't have to cover anything. Your food and housing are completely paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. That's called corporate welfare. Welfare for illegals, but not for you. I'm not sure, but I think that sounds wrong to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being silly. Maybe we should pay for everybody else in the world, including $200 billion to Ukraine and yada, yada, yada. Sugar futures erupt in largest weekly gain in years. Unusual and persistent weather events in Brazil. Yeah, apparently Brazil's having one hell of a drought. Did you guys hear about that? By the way, let me know. Shoot me some comments here. Let's decide if any of us believe that Trump will make it to the election. Oh, somebody's calling me. Unfortunately, I have to decline because I'm doing a live stream. So let me know if you think that Trump's going to make it to the election, because I don't want to get kicked off of here, but I'm kind of curious. By the way, thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. You can't hear you. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. What's going on? Did they? Okay. Good. Whew. I thought it was me for a second. Because I got a pretty loud voice. So let's see. Let's see here. Kamala Harris non sequitur on energy independence. By the way, two things came out today that don't make any sense to me. Help me out, guys. Help me out with this. Give me some comments on this. Kamala Harris, in a video today, said, and this is from several years ago, that just because you doesn't mean that the government can't come into your house to make sure that you're keeping them safely. What? But then in another clip, which I just watched, which was really kind of stunning, she was on Oprah and she said that she owns a gun and that if anybody breaks into her house, they're going to get shot. Think about that for a second. She owns guns. She has guns at her home. ATF on a new level of if that happens. No, that's, I believe that's part of the problem, and that's part of their solution. There's a group of people out there who believe that if you just took away everybody's right to free speech, thanks, man, appreciate it. If everybody just got rid of this pesky free speech thing, because truth is relative. Like, what's your truth as opposed to my truth? So if we get rid of this whole thing about free speech and just quit obsessing over that shit, and then we give up all of our guns, then the country will be great. Oh, universal basic income too. By the way, there are a lot of companies that are announcing huge percentages of worker layoffs, like AT&T, IBM, et cetera, et cetera. And they're saying that, hey, look, part of it is the economy, yeah, but the other part's, hey, we don't need you anymore. We're going to AI. I believe this is probably how Frankenstein felt right after that lightning bolt. And he realized, oh shit, I've created a monster and I have no control over my monster now. Yeah, that's where we're at. We don't want to be dependent on foreign oil, and we should invest in diverse forms of energy. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. Does anybody see the problem with what she said? Reduce the reliance on foreign oil. The United States of America has enough oil to supply ourselves with oil for well over 100 years. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just Prudhoe Bay. That's just Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. Has enough oil reserves, and I'll repeat that, to give the United States all the energy it needs for 100 years. What about Texas? What about offshore stuff? What about the Dakotas? What about natural gas? Oh, yeah, we got all that too. But just for oil production, for the use for gasoline, diesel, etc., Prudhoe Bay has 100 plus years supply for the United States. So when Kamala Harris says that she wants to diversify our energy production, that smells like complete bullshit to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but why would we diversify when we have a clean source of energy that we can use, like natural gas here? As a matter of fact, we have so much natural gas, we're planning on shipping LPG tankers over to Europe to supply them with gas. So why wouldn't we just use that ourselves? Why are we producing oil and shipping it overseas to other countries and then importing it from other countries? I don't understand that. That seems like if I made dinner and I made what I wanted for dinner, and it was exactly what I wanted for dinner, to wrap it up and take it next door and hand it to my neighbor and then get what he made so I could bring it home and eat his dinner. What? Why? Just eat your own fucking dinner. But then, what does a redneck know? Let's take a look here. What do we got? By the way, if you're not, whoa, interesting. Okay, I'm not going to read that one out loud because that will get me kicked off of TikTok. Oh, wow. New York COVID czar attended drug-fueled lockdown sex parties while crafting policy to force vaccinations. Apparently his name is Jay Varma. Whoa. Oklahoma removes 450,000 ineligible voters from the rolls. That would make a dent. That would leave a mark. What website am I on? I'm on Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge is a lot of financial stuff, but it kind of tackles all the craziest stuff. Let's see. No Gaza ceasefire before Biden's term ends. Administration's drastic narrative shift. After months of fake goal lines, they finally decided to tell the truth. By the way, when Biden's term ends, now, tell me what you guys think about this, please, because this is just my opinion. But what I see happening is I see Joe Biden stepping down probably in the next couple of weeks, a month tops. I see Kamala Harris stepping in as president of the United States. And then I see all hell breaking loose in the Middle East. Because we all know that wartime presidents always get reelected, don't we? So if she were the president of the United States and say, well, I don't know, Israel made a massive attack on Iran and kicked off World War III, or at least the next Crusades, that would probably do it. That would pretty much seal our fate. That would make sure that she is president for the next 4 years. Do you guys agree, or do you think I'm crazy? Kind of curious about that one, because I am almost 100% convinced. Thoughts on 5 assassination teams? It does not surprise me at all. That's why I said the one other thing I'd like to talk about tonight is, what do you guys think the odds that Trump makes it to the election are, realistically? 50-50? Better than that? I'm beginning to wonder, because there was an interview with Chuck Schumer several years ago. I believe it was either 60 Minutes or 2020, where they were talking to him, and he said, look, I really think that President Trump has made a huge mistake. He said, he's alienated the intelligence community as a whole, because he was really hard on FBI and CIA. He was like, look, you guys don't do shit except screw things up. So what's the point in funding you? So Chuck Schumer said, look, he's made a huge mistake. He's alienated the intelligence communities of the United States. And these are people who do not forget, and they do not forgive. and they will get him. Chuck Schumer said that several years ago. What do you think that means? We're notifying viewers that you're live. Well, it's about time. I've been live for, I don't know, however long. But it's nice that they're notifying people. That's cool. Yeah, thank you for the likes, by the way. The likes definitely help. The likes really push it out there. It's not looking good. I would say not. I don't think she'll win. If she does, World War III will happen and Israel will disappear. I don't know that who gets elected matters at this point, because it's really getting crazy over there. Like a lot of people don't think about this geopolitically. They think about it from the standpoint of just America. Okay, great. That's fine. You're an American. Think like an American. I don't get paid to think like that. I get paid to think about the ramifications of what happens next. So I have to think geopolitically, not just politically, domestic. So one of the things I've been thinking about is the fact that if there is an all-out war, what we would call total war between, say, Iran and Hezbollah and Hamas and Israel, the United States has almost half of the entire Navy over there in that region now. We just keep moving ships into place. Lindsey Graham is pushing an authorization of use of force bill really hard right now. If that thing gets voted on and it passes, it is absolute that we will attack Iran. The problem is Iran is not Iraq. That's a fact. It's a much bigger, much more sophisticated culture, much more sophisticated country without 10 years of sanctions first, real sanctions. I mean, they've got sanctions, but they're doing business with a lot of people around the world. So that would be catastrophic. That would not be something that I think that the United States could survive economically. I mean, we've got, good evening. I mean, we've got a hell of a military. Our military is awesome. It's not as good as it needs to be, though. All of this woke stuff is, it's not good for fight readiness. Like, you know, if people think that being woke is good for society, that's, you know, I just I don't know what to say about that. But if you think that it's good for the United States Marine Corps, a group of trained killers, no. What color nail polish they wear is not something that I imagine they care about, because they're trained to do one thing and do it really well, and that's it. So bringing all of this stuff into it is not good. Oh, that's right. I can't use the K words. Well, interestingly enough, there was a gay pride celebration on a U.S. carrier not too long ago, off the coast of Australia. I know that because a friend of mine's son is in the Marine Corps, and he was picked up in Australia, and he was on the carrier, and he called us and said, I cannot believe that this is happening on this carrier right now. And my buddy had to kind of talk him down and say, look, man, just don't feed into it. Don't let him rile you up. And he was like, look, man, this is insane. This is totally insane. I didn't sign up for this shit, and I don't want to be a part of it. And we were like, look, man, don't worry about it. Just, you know, hang out in your rack. Just, you know, read a book, ignore it. But it was happening. Military, Russia and China and India and Iran and BRICS. I don't really think they're going to have to take on NATO. Here's the problem. there's a lot of quiet talk in Turkey about the fact that they may be a part of NATO, but they don't like what they see going on in the confrontation just below them. They are not happy with what's going on at all. And if they choose to get involved, that's it. That is it. It's over. So all we can do really right now is just pray that Turkey sits this one out. And of course, they probably will, unless it goes full scale. And then if they get involved, because they're in a position right now where Saudi Arabia, business, they don't want to get involved in anything, period, right now. If this goes global, the final outcome, and they get it, they can now turn to the rest of the Muslim world and say, okay, guys, we're in charge. We're the ones who did everything. We're the ones who solved the problem, as they would put it. And therefore, we're it. We're the center of the universe as far as our culture is concerned. There's a good chance Iran and Saudi Arabia would acquiesce to that. Yeah, I know Turkey's applied to BRICS, which is amazing that we have a NATO country applying to BRICS, but it doesn't surprise me. 80% of the world's population has now either become part of BRICS or it has applied to become part of BRICS. 80% of the world's population. We're 5%. The United States is 5% of the world's population. Now, granted, we consume 55% of the resources every year in the entire world, but we're only 5% of the population. The average American throws away, and this, of course, they take into consideration restaurants, etc. But the average American throws away 3 pounds of food a day. Edible food. Now, that's because of some of the insane, stupid regulations that we have that say that a restaurant can't give their leftover food to homeless people unless it meets certain requirements and has health codes and all this stuff. It's amazing. I went to Panera Bread one night, and they were just about to close. And I said, hey, what are you guys going to do with all that bread? And they said, oh, we got to throw it in the dumpster. And I said, well, can I have it? And they said, what do you mean? And I said, can I come back here every night and get it? I'll take it down to the VA. All the guys that hang outside the VA and sleep in the alleys and stuff, they'd kill for a fresh loaf of bread. And they were like, sorry, man. The city makes us lock our dumpsters. After we throw it away, we have to padlock the dumpsters. Yeah, that's beyond sad. It's disgusting. Yeah, I know. It's nuts. Let's see. Everyone is dumping U.S. bonds, so the Federal Reserve is doomed. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Right now, China and Japan are dumping. Saudi Arabia is dumping, and they've made it very clear that there's no petrodollar anymore. Not as far as they're concerned. They're number one trade partner, and this is directly from Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia's mouth. He said, China is now our most important trading partner and our priority for not just today, but the next 50 years. Now, the reason that he said that was because they had a 50-year agreement with us. It's over. Nonsense. Well, that's helpful. What exactly are you saying is nonsense? You can say nonsense all day, but that really doesn't help. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Gotcha. It's not very bright. I think I'm losing battery. Bright enough. And then there's this bad boy. Where is this? What? You gotta be kidding me. Where did I put it? Oh, jeez. Really, did I have to make it that complicated? I didn't have to make it that complicated, did I? Okay, I guess I did. Oh, here it is. All right. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. Now we're all neoned up. Good to go. Yeah, major power shift is happening. Absolutely. There's no question about it. Look, you can't be the bully in the neighborhood for too long before a bunch of kids that may be half your size decide they've had enough. I remember there was a bully in my neighborhood when I was in 7th grade. Well, we're not being sabotaged. We're sabotaging ourselves, unfortunately. That's the reality. But there was a kid in my neighborhood. His name was Pat. Pat was in high school. He was I want to say a junior in high school. And he was really, really nasty to everybody. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. He was nasty to everybody on our block. And one day, one of the, oh God, what was Paul's last name? Paul. Paul was such a sweet kid. He was, I think, a year younger than me. So he was in 6th grade. I was in 7th grade. I was a middle schooler. But Paul, Italian family, just the coolest family. His little sister, who was just super sweet, she was, I don't know, 7 years old, 6 years old, something like that. Pat actually pushed her and knocked her down. And Paul came to me. I was halfway down the block, and he goes, I'm going to go home. I'm going to tell my mom that Pat pushed my sister and knocked her down. And I said, he did what? He goes, yeah, he pushed her and he knocked her down. Now, keep in mind, when I was in 7th grade, I was 5'3", and I weighed 190 pounds. I was not me now. I was small and chubby. And I said, well, that's bullshit. And I started walking towards him. And I remember I came up to just about the middle of his chest. And as I was walking towards him, I said, hey, why'd you push her? And he goes, none of your business. What are you going to do about it? And just about that time, I knew I was within reach, and I hauled off and punched him in the face as hard as I could. Broke his glasses in half. He was a nerd, and he wore these big, thick glasses. Broke his glasses in half. Knocked him on his ass, and he was just stunned. And then he went from stunned to, I can't believe you just gave me a bloody nose. And he got up and he was pissed. So I did exactly what you would expect somebody who's standing up to a bully to do at that point. I ran for my fucking life. And because his face was bleeding so bad, he didn't chase me because he couldn't breathe through his nose. And I managed to get home and tell my dad before his parents called. And so when I told my dad what I did, he said, you punched Pat in the face? I said, yeah. He goes, what the hell did you do that for? I said, he knocked down whatever the girl's name was, Cindy or something. I said, he knocked her down for no reason. Like he pushed her. And he goes, he put his hands on a woman, did he? I said, yeah. And he goes, all right, good for you. That was it. When Pat's parents called to say that their, my dad's horrible, mean child had hurt Pat, he said, listen, we got a couple options. You can either drop it now because your son's an asshole, or you and I can meet halfway down the block and we'll settle this man to man. That was it. Never heard from him again. Pat was never a bully again. His sister, who I think he bullied a lot, had a crush on me after that, though. It's kind of weird, but anyway, hey, it's junior high school. What are you going to do? All right. So let's talk about, speaking of bullies, let's talk about what we're doing all over the world here. Oh my God. A Chechen warlord is infuriated at Elon Musk after his Cybertrucks are remotely disabled by Elon Musk. That is funny. So this guy decided he was going to get himself a couple of cyber trucks so he could show off just how rich and powerful he is. And Elon Musk said, wait, he's a warlord? Kills civilians? Not in my trucks, he doesn't. And he just killed him. God damn, I like Elon Musk. I got to tell you, the guy just keeps doing shit like that. And it's like, I don't know. He seems like he's just a good dude. Like he gets it. Like he understands what reality is. Nuclear names surge after 3 Mile Island planned restart to power Microsoft data center. Nuclear names surge. Like, I'm wondering what that means. Let's see. Mercedes slides after China slowdown becomes a nightmare amid profit warning. Yeah, I watched some stuff about Germany last night, and it is really bad, guys. I feel really, really terrible about what's going to happen to Germany. I mean, the reality is I make fun of Germans all the time for over-engineering the hell out of everything, making Mercedes and BMWs and Audis so stupidly complicated that nobody can work on them unless they have the special training and special tools. Yeah. And, I get it. German engineers are absolutely convinced that they are the smartest human beings on Earth. And they want to prove it by making the most idiotically complicated vehicles on Earth. And they've been doing that now for at least 90 years. The point is that their economy is suffering tremendously now. They're having layoffs and shutdowns of major, like BASF. That's huge. Porsche announced that they will be manufacturing cars in the United States now, that they're moving over to the United States because they can't meet the energy requirements they need. It's horrible. Why is anyone supporting Zionist Israel? I bought a Volkswagen. By the way, Volkswagen they're kaput. They're shutting down manufacturing in Germany. They happen to be the largest manufacturer in Germany, and they're shutting down. Volkswagens suck. Yeah, Volkswagens are overly engineered and cheap. Porsche manufacturing in the United States. Yeah, I know. When I read that, I just thought, my God, that's got to be an absolute, that's got to be a real serious gut punch to Germans. Because that's, I don't make fun of Porsches. I mean, yeah, Cayennes are a piece of crap, but they were voted worst SUV ever made. But, when it comes to the way that Porsche hand makes their real cars, they're amazing. Audi's in deep trouble. They announced huge layoffs at their plants. Look, Germany. I'm going to try to say this without getting banned, but I want you guys to think about this geopolitically, okay? I'm going up in count on people. I want as many people to hear this as possible. So thank you for the likes, because that really does matter. I'm taking a hell of a risk by saying this, because even though this is something that's been bothering me for a year now, it's not something that you can publicly really talk about without getting in huge trouble. So if you can share my live stream, and let me just say now, in case I do get kicked off of here for another week, that I am also on YouTube under Big and Corn Fed. I have a channel there, and I'm doing lives there. I'm doing a live stream right now on YouTube. Let me take a look. Yep, I'm up, and I have 0 people on my live stream. I still do the live streams anyway, and the reason I do is because YouTube keeps them up in posterity. So that's perfect for me, because 6 months, a year from now, when people see that I did a live stream and said what I said, they'll be like, hey, how the hell did that guy know? This is what I do for a living. I do research. And so my job is to not, I don't want to say guess. It's just the letter N, Big and Corn Fed. Yeah. Big N corn-fed. Why are you scared to answer the question? Are you the one that asked about Zionist Israel? Because I can't answer that. I can't answer that. If I answer that, I might lose my channel on TikTok forever. So we don't talk about that. There are 3 major religions in the Western world, and I can talk about one of them. I can talk about Christianity all I want. And there's a very good chance that I will never get banned for anything I say about it. If I talk about the other 2 major religions, I will get kicked off of here so fast, it'll take 10 minutes. That's it. It will literally take 10 minutes for me to be booted off of here. So, let's see. Yeah, they're basically the sacred cows. What a phony. Okay, thank you. Appreciate your input there, big boy. Let's see. You should say stuff. Well, yes. Well, that's why I'm building my YouTube channel, because number one, oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, look at that. I got somebody on. Hey, if you want to comment, go ahead, because I got the comments up. Do you ever dance with joy? Oh, heck yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I started dancing to the song Happy in the middle of a sushi restaurant for absolutely no reason, on my way to the bathroom. Luckily, my date didn't think that I was insane. She thought that it was really funny. And everybody else in the whole place started laughing too, because, hey, I mean, how can you not dance to the song Happy? It's like the happiest damn song ever. So I just had to bust a move in the middle of the sushi restaurant, and then I just kept walking to the bathroom, but it was fun. Answer is also an answer. Got it. Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly the answer. And that's the truth. Like, you have to be very, very careful. There's 7 people watching me. Yes. 7 people on YouTube. I think that's actually a record. It is. I'm sure it's a record. I think I had 4 on here one night. So this is good. Let's see. I have some very good Jewish friends who have done great things that helped me in life. Some of the best people I have ever met were Jews. Seriously, I'm not joking. What was Mr. Caden's first name? I don't remember. I just called him Mr. Caden. He was my girlfriend's grandfather, and he was a cobbler. He fixed shoes in Redondo Beach. They moved to Redondo Beach in like the 30s, and when I knew him in the 80s, he was a very old man. As a matter of fact, I was with him when he passed, and in Cedars Sinai Medical Center, and what a fucking awesome human being that guy was. And his wife was super sweet. She's quiet though, but he was, man, what a fucking hilarious guy he was, very, very humble. But like, I remember him talking to this nurse, and this is his last day. And as she got ready to walk out of the room, he leaned over to me and said, loud enough that she could hear, "I think she's got the hots for me, but if we're going to get anything started, it better be soon." I was like, what the hell, man? Like, this guy is like, he is happy to the core. And he really was. He just emanated happiness. So it's not about whether or not you're a Jew or an Arab or whatever. There are humans out there everywhere that are awesome. They're just awesome. There's a lot of issues, and I can't talk about them on TikTok because even though they're real issues, for some reason, somebody in authority has decided that we are not allowed to talk about these issues. Like, we can't air our grievances, or we can't talk about our differences. And if you can't talk about them, I remember the most racist time in history, as far as I'm concerned, was Los Angeles in the 90s, because everybody pretended like they weren't racist, but there was this undertone of absolute hatred. There was just this undertone of racism. It went both ways. And I remember thinking to myself, this is really sick. Like, everybody lies and says that they don't feel this, and everybody I got to know well admitted that, yeah, you're right. I feel it too. So why can't we say it? Well, it's not politically correct. Okay, so you're saying that if I have a trauma in my life, I'm supposed to go to a psychologist and get it out, talk about it, vent. And that way I don't have a heart attack at 55 years old, like a lot of men do, be more emotional, be more open. Unless it's one of these sacred cow issues, and then you shut the fuck right up and don't you dare say a word or you're canceled. Okay, but what if those issues bother me? Well, tough shit. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Keep your mouth shut. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Nobody gets to criticize the people who control you. Now, in theory, our Constitution says that we control our own destiny, and therefore we can talk about whatever we want. And that's healthy. Look, if some right-wing nut job, white supremacist guy comes on TikTok and starts ranting, what's going to happen? I mean, let's say we didn't censor him. Let's say that didn't happen. Do you think that all of a sudden rational, happy, normal suburban families and single people would be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I want to choose a life of hatred too. I'm not going to Starbucks tomorrow. I'm going to save up for some hand grenades. No. Let this guy rant. Let him make a fool of himself. Let him talk about why he thinks that he's superior to everybody in spite of the fact that he's 180 pounds overweight and his vocabulary is kind of pathetic. That's what you want. You want the people that are nuts to go out in public and be nuts. Don't censor them. Let them look as crazy as they are. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works anymore. And by the way, when your society is crazy, what's crazy? That's where we're at. Define crazy. Something that's abhorrent. It's not normal. Nate's following me on YouTube, just so you know. And Nate says, I'm Polish. I am still awesome. Nate, I'm looking at the YouTube camera. Nate, you're not just awesome. You're the most fucking awesome. And I'm not just saying that because I'm half Polak. Okay, yes, that's why I'm saying that. Let's be honest. That's the only reason I'm saying it, because I've never been to Poland. And if I tried to speak Polish right now, you'd probably come to my house and beat me with a spoon. I mean, I just don't speak Polish worth a shit. And I do know that if you slur the word just a little bit wrong, it means something completely different. Polish is a hard language, by the way. Icelandic and Polish. Like, I don't get it, why they made it so tough. Why couldn't they just sound a little more English? Yeah, I guess I know the answer to that. Never mind. Irish. Mary's Irish. Mary. Of course she's Irish. That is one hell of an Irish name. Don't tell me what your last name is, but it starts with Mick. And that's not a racial slur, okay? I don't mean Mick in the bad way. I mean Mick Fearson or Mick Roberts or whatever. I love the Irish too. God, they can drink and bullshit people so well. That's why there's so many of them. They're charming and they drink a lot. Charming and drink a lot. Think about that. Does that equal, is that the perfect recipe for just tons of kids? Or is it just me? I have 5 kids. No one likes being made fun of. You dumb. I'm just kidding. I don't want to hurt your feelings because you're left. None left. Oh, none left. None left. I just want you to know that you can make fun of me. I am not that sensitive. I actually feel pretty good about myself. I like me. So if you make fun of me, especially if it's accurate, Let me tell you something. Putting on my psychiatrist hat for a second. If you're a woman, you better listen up closely. If you're going to criticize a man, there's only one way to do it, where he actually pays attention to what you're saying. And that's if you make him laugh. If a man is laughing, he's listening. That's why when men give each other crap, like, hey man, you trying to steal a basketball, or are you just getting fat? Guy hears that and he starts laughing and he goes, hey man, fuck you. Not that, I didn't gain. Yeah, shit. I guess I'm gaining a little weight. One of my best friends, absolute, seriously, a model. He's 6'4". He's Chinese and half Irish. So he's 6'4". He looks Chinese. He's got the mean, like Han Chinese warrior face, but he's got the greenest eyes you've ever seen. Jet black hair. He's a model. He was all depressed about something. Something happened. I don't remember what, but I think he lost a job, or one of the project he was working on fell apart, and it was a big deal to him. He sat around the house and moped and bitched and was depressed for about 4 months. He managed to gain about 30 pounds, and his girlfriend walked in one day, and he said, hey, you just coming back from the store? And she said, yeah, I got you something. And she pulled out a big thing of bacon, and she threw it at him and hit him in the chest. And he goes, what's this? And she goes, well, I mean, if you're trying to make your fucking face look any fatter, just slap that on the sides of it. And he's like, what? And she goes, why? Why are you doing this? Pull your head out of your ass. Be a man. Stop doing this. You're just sitting around moping. You had your time to feel bad, and that was over 3 months ago. Now get off your ass. And he was like, yeah, okay. And he started laughing, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, I am sitting around feeling sorry for myself. And that was it. At that point, he got back in the gym, lost the weight, and started working again. Can't find me on YouTube. All right, you guys, I got a bunch of people that are commenting on YouTube, and so I know I'm there. You know, I think you might, once you go to YouTube, you might have to put @ I know that the way that it said it, like if you go to my bio and just click the YouTube link, that might help. But it says youtube.com/Big and Corn Fed. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, Big and Corn Fed. He's got that spelled right perfectly. Thank you. No, a good woman has to challenge you. Look, bottom line is this. I've been thinking about this a lot while I've been single, sitting here thinking about my future. I'm in a tough situation because I'm a hard-headed son of a bitch. And I'm smart. And I'm extremely creative. And I'm not the most organized. And what I need, what I want, is I want a beautiful woman who thinks that I am some type of God, who just hangs on every word I say all the time and thinks everything I do is fucking awesome. And every word I say is absolutely side-splitting, pee yourself a little on accident, kind of funny. But that's not what I need. What I need is a woman who says, hey, great idea, Hairbrain. Are you actually going to do it? Or are you just going to forget 5 minutes from now? Are you going to go to the store with a list and admit that you forget shit every time? Or are you going to go to the store for dog food and come back with $190 worth of $134 worth of groceries and forget dog food? That was today. I didn't make a list. I don't need a fucking list. My memory is absolutely incredible. So why did I forget dog food? I have 3 massive dogs. I haven't fed them yet today. If I don't feed them soon, they're going to eat me. But I forgot dog food. I was at the store, could have bought the dog food. So instead now, when the live stream's done, I have to run to the convenience store because the market's closed, and I have to pay $12 for a tiny little bag of dog food, which will only feed them all 3 once. So, but would I be upset that she's doesn't believe in me? Yeah. See, I'm really good at research and I'm really good at precious metals. I have nailed the precious metals markets over and over again. And I'm very good at prognosticating the economy because I do research all day. So sound bites from the mainstream media don't bullshit me. However, I got a couple blind spots. That's what I'll call them. I don't want to call them holes in my game, but blind spots. Ethiopia. What a cool country. Ethiopia is one of the places that I want to go in my lifetime. I want to go to Lala. That would be really cool. I want to see the underground churches. Uh-oh. Did I piss off the algorithms somehow? Oh no. Okay, they just want me to verify that I'm still live and it's still me. Okay. Whew. Every time the screen goes dark for a second, I'm like, damn, I got kicked off again. No, they just wanted me to verify I'm a human. Men need a woman who makes them better. Right. Damn. Maybe Asian women might respect you more. Maybe not. Ooh, I don't know. Asian women are hard. They're tough. They're tough. Gold went up $25 today. I know. Get used to it, man. Get used to it. And as a percentage, silver went up, gold went up, everything's going up. We're going to keep seeing that for, I don't know, 10 years. It may level off for a while at some point, but it's going to keep going up. That's, I'm in the right business. Believe me, I didn't pick this business on accident. I saw the writing on the outhouse and I said, this is not good. So I've been back in the business. I've been in coins, either numismatic coins or gold and silver. All of this century, but going back to 1988. I took a couple breaks from it. I did it for fun and did it for a hobby, did it with just, other coin nerds while I owned an ATM company and some other stuff, Silver Stacker. Well, for the next time you get ready to buy, call me. I'll probably save you a ton of money. You just got in the metals market. Well, if you got in the metals market and you didn't buy it from me, you paid too much. Tried reaching you. Salvatore. What? Wait a minute. Salvatore. We talked. Your wife's brother-in-law owns a jewelry store. Am I right? Well, thank you. Not completely stupid. Thank you, I think. Wait a minute. How many fucking Salvatore Barbaritos are there in the world? I have a client who called me. He said, "Look, I for 100,000." Mark, you waited until Friday night to ask me that? I can't answer that until Monday morning, big boy. Call me Monday morning, though. Text me on my phone. The number's up on my bio. Seriously, if you call me, whatever APMEX and JM Bullion tell you, it'll be less from me. I am a wholesaler for both of those companies, and I will kick their ass. And they know it, but they don't care because, look, I'm a small fish compared to them. They do billions of dollars a month in business. I do millions. They do billions. They know that I undercut them, and they also know that I talk shit about their prices and that I always recommend them. If somebody's not going to buy from me, I always tell them JM Bullion is fantastic customer service. APMEX is fantastic customer service. APMEX is a little more expensive than JM Bullion sometimes. Sometimes they have sales, but they're both good companies. I never badmouth the companies. I just talk shit about their prices because I'm cheaper. Same thing. How can you sell below spot? I don't sell below spot. I don't buy below spot. Nobody does. Yeah, I can get you Eagles. If you don't care about price, I'll get you Eagles. They're stupidly expensive, and they always have been. The government started with a bottom line of $2.50 over spot at their wholesale level. And now Eagles have to go through at least 2 distributors to get to you. And it's $2.50 above spot from the mint. They're assholes. And there's no reason to buy them. They're currency, but so what? They're silver. Sunshine Mine, I can get you Sunshine silver rounds at a $9.99 fine. Sunshine makes the salver for the mint. It's the exact same silver. And I can get it to you a lot cheaper. So, now, Salvatore Barbarito. I have a client who called me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, listen, I'm interested. We talked about decent sized numbers. And then he said, I was texting him and he said, hey, man, listen, I love your information. I spent 2 hours on the phone with him. He said, look, I would buy from you, except my sister or my wife's brother-in-law owns a jewelry store, and he said he can take care of it. And so I was like, damn, I like that guy. East Coast dude, I think, New Jersey. And man, I just figured, all right, well, hey, if he can get a better deal through his brother-in-law, I don't know how, but it's possible. I mean, it depends on how much he buys. But see, that's the thing. It's not you. That's crazy. Now, this Salvatore, the one where I'm talking to now, where are you at? Are you what part of the country are you in? Well, good. There are no coincidences. That's right, baby. I will. Look, don't tell me what you paid, and I'll tell you what I'll sell it to you for. Just don't be pissed, because the reality is, if you paid a little too much the first few times around, when it's at 65, we'll laugh about it. Right now, it may not be funny, but oh shit, look at that. All right. Well, I suppose if you're going to have, and by the way, you would be my third client named Salvatore. Sally, who's in Vegas. I know where you're going with this. You're thinking, wait, a dude named Sally and he's in Vegas? What's he do for a living? He's actually a mortgage guy, and he's a very sharp cat. He's one of my biggest clients, actually. And I can call you Sal, Salvatore, or Sally. I always thought Sally was a great name. It's now some guys don't like it. They're like, nope, that's a girl's name. But based on the Salvatores I've known, if you're a big, mean-looking Italian dude, Sally's a funny fucking name for you. That's a great one. So anyway, all right. So Salvatore, this is what you got to do. All right. So Sal, send me a text, because I literally have a guy named Salvatore Barbarito in my texts. So I'll make sure that I get rid of his info and put yours in there, because I think you sent me a direct message on TikTok, and I saw it and I was like, he just told me a week ago he's buying from his brother. All right. And I called him and said, hey man, you change your mind? He goes, no, I'm still buying silver. And I said, okay, from me? And he goes, no, we just talked about this last week. I'm buying it from my brother-in-law. And I went, okay, that's what I thought. Did you DM me? And he goes, no, I didn't send you a message. And I thought, okay, either I'm losing my mind or the Chinese are fucking with me. But it wasn't. It's cool. All right, cool. He must be family. It's very possible. I mean, what are the odds? He's literally in Jersey, and you're in like the nice part of Jersey. If anybody's listening from New Jersey, that was a joke. Don't stalk me. No, it's, you know what? Hey, you're making fun of me. That other guy said we're not supposed to make fun of people, right? Oh shit, that's right. And then I said you can make fun of me. All right, never mind. All right, so if you want to buy silver, buy it from me. That's the upshot. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about something that would get me banned. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna do that on TikTok. Sorry guys, I know I got 120,000 followers on TikTok, and I got like 12 on YouTube. No, actually like 100 and something. But if you want to see what I think is about to happen globally, and this will be within 12 months, and it's it's catastrophic. Well, I like Rumble, but it just doesn't have the pull. Look, if I'm talking to just conservatives who already agree with everything I have to say and are usually even more sort of to the right, like way far to the right, because I don't consider myself a right winger at all. I'm a centrist. Like, I do believe that, there are some social programs that are important. There are some things that the government can do for people that they should do for people. I mean, fuck, if you're going to take all this money from us every year, spend it wisely. Spend it on things that are going to help, you know? Look, if somebody said, I would like to put $1 billion into farmers markets, like legit, where people that are less fortunate or more poverty stricken can get good healthy food, because I've seen what Food City offers, and it's fucking horrendous. Like, and then maybe more money into the education of people in poverty as to what they're eating and drinking, because let's face it, all food's processed, it's all shit, we all agree. Diabetes is rampant, all that other stuff. But when you break it down by income, the wealthy are by far healthiest, and the poor are by far the least healthy. And that means that those poor folks will never get a leg up because they're sick and they're on welfare and on Medicaid, and they can't work because they're disabled, because God only knows what they ate. But I'll give you a perfect example. Sunny D. Sunny D's orange juice. No, it's not. Sunny D, by volume, is about 40% high fructose corn syrup. Sunny D is probably one of the most deadly things that you can put in your body. People buy it all the time for their kids. Why? Well, because it's orange juice. No, it's not. It should be illegal. If I were president, I would make sure that anybody who tried to poison my population that badly served the rest of their life in prison. I would make sure that Monsanto, that DuPont, et cetera, whatever they made on products that poisoned people, I would take all of it, not a teeny little piece. Oh, you made $60 billion on Teflon, and now we find out that it kills everybody. Not a $3 billion settlement, a $60 billion settlement. You sell silver and no nutrition too. This is great. Well, I know a few things about a few things, but the idea that a company like J.P. Morgan would have over I want to say 266 violations to the tune of $32 billion just since 2000. Now I'm going to look, because remember, if you were on my live stream a couple weeks ago, we looked over this, right? So let's check this out. It would be super and the reason I threw that out was because I want people to understand that when I say that my memory is outstanding, it is outstanding for certain things. And if you were watching a live stream a couple weeks ago when I looked this up, you'll probably remember that it was 266 violations for a total of $32 billion and change. If you remember that, please comment. Or if you remember a different number, throw that out there, because I still haven't pulled it up yet. I'm still looking. I'm going through the tracker to find JP. JP. You do. Okay. Polly's with me on this. Okay. JP Morgan Chase. Boom. You sons of bitches. I wonder if this is different now. I wonder if, oh my God, it's actually gone up, because I remember that it was 32. It's now 39 and 278 violations. It's actually gone up in the last 2 weeks. What the hell? That's nuts. Okay, wait a minute. Let me make sure here. Okay, so let's rearrange this so we can see what the latest violations are. Yes. Oh my God, yes, they have. 2024, 2024, 2024, 2024. Holy shit, they've been with another two. Jesus Christ, this is since the last time we did a live stream about them. Investor protection violation, banking violation, investor protection violation. These are all brand new. What the hell? No, I wish I had the blue Mustang. I sold it to a guy in the Netherlands JP Morgan Chase, the bank that everybody thinks is so awesome that it's the largest bank in the United States. Yeah, they've had 278 violations of the law since 2000, and they've paid $39.8 billion in penalties and fines for the felonies. How many violations of the law, felonies, fraud, investor protection violations, banking violations, price fixing and anti-competitive practices, sexual exploitation of minors? Yeah, that's one of them. Workplace safety. How many felonies could you, as an American citizen, get away with before you spent the rest of your life in prison? I'll make it easy. Do you think that it would be less than 278 felonies in 24 years? Yeah, 1 or 2. 0. Here's my point. You pick out some guy who was born in a shitty part of town, who got a shitty education and decided that it was all somebody's fault because all of his buddies told him it was. And so he decided, fuck the man, I'm going to rob a bank. And now he robs a bank and he's in prison for 25 years. Does that make it right? No. Does it make him any different than JP Morgan Chase, who's robbing you? Sexual exploitation of minors? Would you like me to tell you who brought that against them? That was a private federal lawsuit. They settled it out of court for $290 million. So you're never going to find out what exactly that means. Sexual exploitation of children. You're never going to know, because it's JP Morgan Chase. That's your banking system. Still want to be a part of that? The FDIC, the insurance company that makes sure that you're safe, they have $126 billion in assets. But they're insuring $9 trillion in deposits. So if more than a couple percent of their deposits go bad, those banks go bad, they don't have the money to give you. So what's your insurance worth? Well, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, I'm going to post that. Children. Exactly. Not of a child. Exactly. I'm going to post that on my YouTube. On YouTube, I'll be able to say this, and it might get demonetized, but hell, with 100 subs on there so far, I could care less if I get demonetized. Really, that's not the point. The point is that I want this for next year, when this is actually going down. And here's the thing. I've got several different scenarios. When everybody else is getting high or drinking a beer on Friday night, I'm drinking caffeine drinks and going over numbers and thinking about, and when I say thinking about, all the time, when I'm in the shower, when I'm doing my hair. Okay, that only takes 30 seconds. There, I just did my hair. And by the way, that way you know it's not a toupee. Somebody accused me of having a toupee. They were like, "That's a nice toupee." It's like, I think I'm glad you said that. You know what? I'll do it as soon as I'm done with this live stream. Well, with this live stream, and I hop on my motorcycle and I go down to the convenience store and I get some dog food and a cigar, and then I come back. Then I'll sit down and do it because it is extremely important. Now, here's my point. I basically what I do is I run war games in my head, and not just war games in terms of like, Army, Navy, Marine Corps kind of thing, but as far as economic outcomes, war games in terms of what would happen if this happened. Why would you do that? What I could not understand with Chase, you could never use cash when making a deposit. Well, they don't like cash anymore at all. Are you a little obsessed with economics? Yes, but for a very specific reason. It's not because, I don't want to ever get laid again, which, by the way, if you talk economics, you'll stay a virgin for the rest of your life. It's really kind of sad, actually. I'm just kidding. Actually, I just don't talk economics to girls unless they bring it up. If I say, "Oh yeah, I study economics," and they go, "Whoa, that's hot," I'm like, "Really? You want to talk about the GDP?" But that doesn't happen much, so whatever. Bottom line is this: I worry about it because I have an 11-year-old son, and I love my son. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I love my daughter. I have a 21-year-old daughter. I love her even more. No, that's not true. I love her just as much, though. I have a 30-year-old daughter who's a complete pain in my ass, but I love her. I have a grandson who's 9 years old, and I love him. And my oldest daughter, I almost don't want to say this out loud, is, how old is Noelle? Damn. No, she can't be 38. Yeah, she's 38. She needs me, literally. She needs me like I need to be 5 inches taller. I mean, she is so much like me that we just couldn't stand each other for a while. But the reality is that she is hard-headed as fuck, smart as hell, just an absolute genius of a kid. Got her master's degree in basically the art of teaching humans how to cope with robotics, like people who are losing their jobs, people who are being cross-trained because of it. And literally, like, as soon as she got her master's, they immediately asked her to come to Japan and work with major companies over there. So I don't worry about her because I know that regardless, I mean, even if the grid went down, that girl's got it. She is 100%. My 30-year-old's pretty damn tough too. She's a pretty tough kid. My 21 and 19-year-old, they are probably a lot tougher than I think. But, they're daddy's girls, and I think that if it weren't for me, they just couldn't survive. Now, I know that's my ego, and it's total bullshit, and they're just fine without me. Hell, one of them only calls me about once every 4 months when she needs money. But the other one calls me about 5 times a week just to say, hey, and hang out, and can we have lunch together? That's awesome. That makes me feel great. I don't want them to be dependent on me, but I like the fact that she likes hanging out with me. And she has some of the most insane commentary on boys and what's going on in the world, like with her. She, oh man, some dude is going to get really lucky if he plays his cards right, because just she's as aware now as I was when I was 45 of herself, what she wants, what she needs, what's going on as far as life. It's amazing. Sometimes I listen to her and I'm just like, damn, I don't even know if I can give her advice. Like she's right there with me. And of course, my son, who's 11, he needs me. He doesn't understand. He's at that point now where he's trying to sort of parse out what does it mean to be a man. Very, very dangerous times for that question, because what it meant to my father, what it meant to me, it's not what it means anymore. It's very different in this world. So my number one concern is making sure that if anything goes catastrophically wrong, that I can take care of my kids. Now, I can do that several ways. I can do that by, as they said in the old days, by hook or by crook. Now, you can make a lot of money by doing things that don't necessarily matter to anybody. For instance, if I were just swing trading all the time, I make myself money, but that's not the example I want for my kids. I do want them to learn to swing trade. I'm teaching my 11-year-old how to swing trade. I've been telling him since the day he was born, damn, you're amazing at math. Guess what? He actually believes it now, and he gets A's in math because he knows he's good at math. This is like, I'm programming him so that he can have an income no matter what, but on top of that, make a difference. Yeah, and that's the thing. Swing trading. Basically, there are people who, what they call buy and hold. They buy a stock because they see the long-term advantage of having that stock. Well, I'll give you an example. You could buy Tesla right now. It's not at its all-time high. It's not even close, but it's a good company. And over the course of the next 20 years, if you held on to Tesla stock the entire time, there's a very real possibility that it will be much higher than when you bought it. There's also a chance that there'll be some kind of market disruption, some kind of issue where electric cars or something goes wrong or the grid goes down and it's worthless. The stock is worthless. And I've seen this over and over again in my life. There was a guy who worked for a company that made products for schools. And he'd been working at this company for a long time, and he had made a good living. He had his entire, like every dime of his retirement was in the company stock. And all of a sudden it went from 20, it started to sink. Well, he knew that it was going to come back because, look, it's a good company. It's run well. It's good management. It never came back. It ended up being $1. He'll work for the rest of his life. He will never retire now. I don't want that. So what I do is I pick stocks that have a better than 50-50 chance of doing something. Now you can buy puts or calls. Calls mean I think that this stock's going to go up. I'm going to buy an option to buy that stock. I'm not going to buy the stock, but I'm going to buy an option to buy that stock. You can also buy puts. You're saying, I think this thing's going to tank. And somebody says, okay, well, I don't think it's going to tank. And you say, okay, well, I want the option to buy it. Or actually, I'm sorry, that's calls. When you're buying puts, you're basically saying that the market on that particular stock is going to tank. So commodities, by the way, if you want to be really honest about how you make money, commodities are actually probably the most relevant way to make money. And when I say relevant, like if you want to contribute something to the economy, people who are in the commodities business actually matter. You're a middleman between a farmer and an end user, like say General Mills. And what you're doing by buying one thing from one guy or selling another thing to another guy is you're helping them hedge their costs. Like one guy might want to sell some of his wheat delivery for 9 months from now at a certain price. Now, he thinks it's going to go higher, but just in case, he wants to sell enough to cover his overhead for the year in case it tanks. you jump in and you say, okay, I'll take it. And you're not going to take delivery of the wheat. But if you're right and it does go higher, you can turn around and sell it to General Mills for 90% of the cost, not 100%. And now they have the right to buy it at this lower price. They paid you on top of that. You're actually contributing to the economy. The guys who actually are in commodities are the good guys. But commodities are a whole other animal. That's a whole other beast. And that's something that if you want to talk to people who make a lot of money in commodities, go to the Midwest. Because let me tell you something. If you think farmers just sit on tractors all day and pick their nose, So the sharpest guys were farmers, and they could tell you what the crop reports are. They could tell you what the almanac says that the average rainfall is in this part of the country for this part of the year, et cetera, et cetera. They're sharp. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what I see as far as there are several different scenarios that'll play out or that could play out. The idea, now I can say this on here because it's just my opinion. If Joe Biden steps down in the next couple of weeks to say month, Kamala Harris takes over as commander in chief, then we have a massive total war start in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. With what I know about the Democratic support for a war and the Republican support for a war, everyone up there on that hill in Washington, D.C. wants a war. They all want a war. Now, when I say all, I'm generalizing because I don't think that Rand Paul wants a war. I don't think that Representative Massey wants a war. There's another guy, son of a bitch. He's very into the UAP thing. I think he got his tail feathers in a ruffle because he went somewhere and they told him he didn't have access, and he's on some security committee, and he's like, "What do you mean I don't have access? That's bullshit." But they pissed him off, and now he's sort of made it a mission to make sure that he finds out everything he can about what's going on in UAPs. But on top of that, he seems like kind of a down-to-earth Southern guy, and I know a lot of those guys. It's all pour shit and gun smoke, but he seems legit. So if that's the case, I'm all for him. Yeah, what I would say is I'll make a few videos over the only reason I haven't put these on YouTube yet is because I don't have any followers there yet. But if I know that you folks from TikTok will actually swing by and check on them and take a look at them, I'm more than happy to post them there. I just don't want to get kicked off of TikTok forever because this is how I let people know about silver. So I have to start being very careful. The last week, when I do live streams every night, the amount of business that I get from people watching TikTok is tremendous. Literally millions of dollars in silver over the last couple of weeks just from the people from TikTok. I got to be careful. On YouTube, I can just be totally honest about what I think is about to happen, and it's going to be nuts. There's lots of money in war, but I hate war. Anybody that's ever been to war hates war. That's the reality. Like, it's somebody a lot smarter than me once said that war is the absolute complete breakdown of communication between human beings. You can't negotiate. You can't figure out a way to live together. You have to go to war. You have to murder each other. Or more likely, you have to send some poor guy's son to go do it. Well, unfortunately, I can't. I got to talk about it. Sorry, Bruce, I got to talk about it on YouTube. I can't talk about it here because it has to do with the Middle East. It has to do with a lot of things, and that's bad. So I can't talk about it here. But I can tell you that if we have a total war, if Kamala Harris takes over, and why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't the Dems say, look, it's time for Kamala Harris to just assume the presidency? Everybody knows that Joe's not doing the job. We hardly ever see him. He doesn't do press anymore. He doesn't do anything. We don't even know if he's actually running the country. Honestly, that's not some right-wing bullshit talking point, although it may be. That's my actual concern. Like who makes policy right now? If there were an emergency, who would be in charge? Lloyd Austin? Lloyd Austin is I mean, he has the common sense of a hamster. He left his post as Secretary of Defense and went to the hospital and had an operation done and didn't tell anybody where he was for days. You left the United States without a Secretary of Defense? The Assistant Secretary of Defense thought you were still in charge and didn't know that you were in the hospital having an operation done? People, you have to understand, I was in the military. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. If you abandon your post without being properly relieved, you're court-martialed. You're booted. You're done. That's if you're a private. That's if you're a corporal. If you're a sergeant major, if you're the commander of an entire naval force, your career is over. Go home. You're done. If you're the Secretary of Defense and you just walk out one day and don't tell anyone where you're going, and you leave the United States defenseless, and you don't get fired, who's running this country? Who's in charge? Because whoever's in charge, the moment they found out Lloyd Austin had done something that completely irreconcilable, they should have said, you resign by noon, or I will very publicly fire you, and I will make it brutal. It's just nuts. I just can't. Who's in charge? So it would be very easy to see Kamala Harris stepping in because Joe Biden steps down for health reasons. If that's the case, that would make her the commander-in-chief of all U.S. forces. If those U.S. forces were engaged somehow, or if there were, God forbid, a terrorist attack in the United States, what are the odds that we would take the chance of replacing the commander-in-chief with somebody who's already anti-war and doesn't really have any experience with a terrorist attack? Yeah. So that's how she wins. Guaranteed. That's just my opinion, and that's not what I'm going to talk about on YouTube. What I'm going to talk about on YouTube is much, much, much bigger than that. For all of you who are terrified about Kamala Harris becoming president, it doesn't matter that much. I'm afraid to say the people who run this country, they don't mess around with the executive branch. They're not temporary servants of the people. They run this country from behind closed doors. And that's it. That's it. They run this country from behind closed doors, and they will continue to run this country behind closed doors. Now, they may try to push their agenda of taking away guns or silencing free speech. Yeah, that would be catastrophic. But do I think that the economy will tank instantly as soon as she takes over? No, I don't think so. The week that Kennedy was killed, the stock market actually went up. Markets do what markets do. The economy is going to do what the economy is going to do. We've already baked the cake. We're already on our way to stagflation. There's no way out of stagflation. It's going to happen. It's just done. So that's it. Now, if Trump becomes president, could things change? Well, he's alive, yeah. But again, Chuck Schumer is the one who said it. You don't offend the intelligence community and alienate the intelligence community of this country without payback. This is a liberal Democrat saying, I don't think Donald Trump understands what he's done. This is the system we have. Maybe if it gets bad enough, we'll fix it. But it's not bad enough yet because people are just complaining. They're not doing anything. They're just complaining. That's not enough. They they expect us to complain day and night. That's what we do. That's what Americans do. We bitch about our government. That's the nature of our country. But do I think that they'll react to us complaining? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. So just get ready. A week's wages for a loaf of bread. That's what they're saying. Yeah. I mean, if you look at, thanks. Thank you. I made it myself out of my dog's hair. Yeah, if they're talking about another 1 to 2 basis points over the next year, boy, hold the fuck on, because the last quarter that was reported, core CPI went up. Core CPI went up to 3.09%. It hasn't gone down for over 51 months. Yeah, that's the entire time they've been raising rates. It didn't go down. There was no disinflation. Core inflation stayed the same. So now they're going to, what? Stop inflation by cutting rates and making money easy again? No, that stimulates inflation. But you didn't fix the inflation from before. Well, yeah, we know that. Okay, but if you didn't fix the inflation from before, how can you possibly expect to cut rates and fix it? Well, we're hoping that before all of this easy money kicks in over the next year or two, that the job market collapses so badly that it puts us right on the verge of a horrific recession. And then we'll just barely miss the ground as we swoop back up again. When was the last time the Fed got anything right? I'll go first. Never. Not since 1913. They've never gotten it right. Now, they'll say that's incompetence on their part. It's an accident. They're just stupid. They're not stupid. The reason that they do this is because more money is made in a down market than an up market. So when the market crashes and the people who knew it was going to crash because they made it crash take advantage of it, they'll make the same amount of money over the course of 6 months as it drops as they made over 6 years as it slowly went up. And then they'll reverse course and buy in at the bottom and make money going back up again. You see how that works? You either get with the program or you suffer. You're either on board or you're under it. Gerald Celente. I hope he's a good-looking bastard. There are checks that prevent this. Do you mean like Chex Party Mix? Because there are no checks that prevent this. Yes. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go get my cigar, get my dog food, and I'm going to go on YouTube, and I'm going to do another live, but it'll be live on just YouTube where I can talk, and then that'll be a permanent video like it always is. That's what I'm going to do. I feel pretty good about this. All right, you guys. Tomorrow night, I'm taking the night off. You know why? You know why? I'll tell you why. I have a date. I have a date with a hot Brazilian girl. Yeah, I said it. He didn't crash the market. No, I didn't crash the market.
Hello?
Lori,